Hi everyone, my name is Prerak Sharma. I am MBA Data Science and AI first year student at IIT Mandi. My professor told me that if I am able to upload or record myself for 2 years daily for 20 minutes, I'll be able to improve my lingo and my communication skills. That will give me an edge to improve my charisma and become a better asset to everyone and to also become a better leader or founder myself. So that is what I'm going to do here. Daily 20 to 25-minute video of me trying to speak on different topics. Plus, I've also decided to read some content. Why? Because if I have good content inside, I'll be able to recite it outside through my mouth. And if my content makes sense, if my conviction makes sense, I will definitely have authority. So let's begin today, and for the coming days I'll be reading this book. I found it interesting outside my library. This is I Human, AI Automation and the Quest to Reclaim What Makes Us Unique. I'll begin with any chapter. Let's see. This book examines the impact of artificial intelligence on human behavior. A lot of ink and bytes have been devoted to the rise of AI. Business press and experts have heralded AI as the next big thing, fuming, fueling the new industrial revolution. Techno evangelists claim that the technology will transform our jobs, help cure diseases, and extinguish all human biases. I am also sure you have heard the bleak predictions, some by the world's most eminent techno enthusiasts, that AI threatens to upend the human species as we know it. For example, the usually optimistic Bill Gates confessed that he is concerned about superintelligence. Likewise, the late Stephen Hawking noted that a super intelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals, and if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we are in trouble. Meanwhile, Elon Musk labeled AI a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization, though that hasn't stopped him from trying to implant it in our brains. So, you may be wondering why you need to read yet another book on AI. Even short books like this one are a considerable investment of time, energy, and focus, all of which are precious and scarce. I'll explain why. Despite all the forecasts about AI from tech utopians and Luddites alike, one topic has been oddly neglected: how AI is changing our lives, values, and fundamental ways of being. It is time to look at AI from a human perspective, which ought to include an assessment of how the AI age is impacting human behavior. How is AI changing the way we work, as well as other areas of life such as relationships, well-being, and consumption? What are the key social and cultural differences between the AI era and previous chapters in human civilization, and how is AI redefining the key forms in which we express our humanity? These questions fascinate me as a psychologist. I have studied human traits and foibles for decades, trying to understand what makes us tick. For over 20 years, much of my research has focused on understanding human intelligence, how to define it and measure it, and what happens when we decide not to use it, especially when we select leaders. This research has highlighted how our flaws and misconceptions shape our world, generally not for the better. Our over reliance on intuition over data, a tendency to mistake confidence for competence, and a propensity to prefer incompetent male leaders over competent female leaders all account for many of the major challenges we face in the world. And as a scientist practitioner, I've spent my career trying to find ways to help people and organizations make better data driven decisions. This is how I initially stumbled upon AI, namely as a tool that has clear potential for decoding the dynamics of people at work and not just predict, but also enable better performance for individuals, teams, and organizations. I devote much of my time to designing and deploying AI to select the right employees, managers, and leaders, and to increase diversity and fairness in organizations so that more people, and particularly those who have historically been unfairly excluded, can thrive at work. Since nobody has any data on the future, it is hard to know how AI will unfold. At least until now, AI has mostly just has been mostly just something that happens to data. It usually boils down to partially self-generated algorithms that possess a relentless capacity for identifying hidden patterns in a big set of data via their ability to evolve, learn, unlearn, autocorrect, and perfect, regardless of whether they end up reaching human levels of intelligence. Yet, its stealth omnipresence is impactful. Whether we are cognizant of it or not, we interact with AI daily. When we ask Siri or Alexa a question, when we are exposed to a digital ad, when we are shown news or any content online, given how much we use our phones and scroll through social media, we probably spend more time interacting with AI than we do with our spouses, friends, and co-workers, all of whom are also influenced by AI when they interact with us. AI is omnipresent, and though it's still evolving and so much is uncertain, there's no doubt it's also redefining our lives, our interactions with the world, and ourselves. AI has the potential to improve our lives. We live in a complex world, and our archaic brains can no longer rely on intuitive or instinctive decisions to make the right choices, especially if we want to be functional members of the modern society. For example, we can expect well designed AI to do a better job than most human recruiters at evaluating the resume or interview performance of a job applicant, just as we can expect well designed AI to outperform most human drivers, make more accurate, reliable, and faster medical diagnosis than the naked human eye, and outperform humans at detecting credit card fraud. Human bias permeates every aspect of life, from who gets hired and promoted to who has access to credits, loans, and college, and who gets convicted and incarcerated. Meritocracy, the idea that our pay should be determined by our level of skill and effort, is a near universal aspiration, yet anywhere in the world it is caused more by privilege and class than other factors. Your birthplace, your parents, and your social demographic classification are all stronger predictors of your future success than your actual potential and performance, especially in the United States. More than any other technological invention, AI has the ability to expose these biases as well as identify real signals of talent and potential while being fully agnostic to our class, gender, race, and status. Importantly, the key goal is not for AI to replace human expertise, but to enhance it. In any area of decision making, human expertise will improve with the help of data driven insights produced by AI. But the AI age has also unleashed bad behavioral tendencies, which we'll uncover over the course of this book. The deployment of algorithms that co opt or hijack our attention are contributing to a crisis of distractibility. The AI age is also making us more impatient, ignorant, and delusional, reinforcing a self servicing interpretation of the world. It has also increased our addiction to social media platforms, which have democratized digital narcissism and turned the AI age into an age of self obsession, entitlement, and ubiquitous attention seeking. Furthermore, the AI age has also turned us into rather more boring and predictable creatures, diluting the range and richness of experience that once categorized human life. And last, AI may be diminishing our intellectual and social curiosity, feeding us rapid and simple answers to everything and discouraging us from actually asking questions. Perhaps things will get better in the future. After all, AI is in its infancy, and one would hope its evolution will also include our own ability to manage and deal with it better so that we can reap the benefits of technological progress. However, so far there are clearly reasons to worry about the behavioral impact and repercussions of the AI age. My goal with this book is to talk about the present rather than the future, focusing on the current realities of humans interacting with AI. Humans have a strong record of blaming their technological inventions for their own cultural demise and degeneration. Since the dawn of television, critics have repeatedly blamed TV for being the opium of the people, inhibiting human imagination and fueling violence and aggression. When the first newspapers began to circulate in the 16th century, skeptics feared they would forever kill social gatherings. Why bother meeting if there is no more news or gossip to exchange? Long before that, Socrates, like many of his fellow philosophers, refrained from writing altogether on basis that it would atrophy his memory. This solid history of slamming novel media tools may seem sufficient to dismiss alarmist criticisms of current technological innovations. though a default underreaction is not necessarily the best alternative to an overreaction. Since one of the key advantages of the AI age is the chance to gather and analyze a great deal of detailed data on human behavior, why not harness the opportunity to assess the impact of the AI age on human behavior in an evidence based way? That's what I aim to do. Focus less on the potential future consequences and more on what has happened thus far, worrying less about future threats and more about present realities. Focus on the future, worrying less about future and more about present realities. With that in mind, my aim for this book is to ask big questions. What does it mean to be human in the AI age? And what new and perhaps better ways could we express our humanity in this current chapter of our evolutionary history? Amid much discussion on how the rise of AI is taking control of the world and our lives, can we reclaim our humanity to display our most virtuous side and avoid being alienated or dehumanized, let alone automated by technology? Given that AI is still evolving, these questions may yet be unanswerable, but this shouldn't stop us from trying to answer them. Even while the AI age unfolds, we can reflect on what we are observing at this very point in time of the human AI interface. You never see yourself age in the mirror, but one day you find an old picture of yourself and realize that you have changed. Along the same lines, if we obsess too much about the future, we will risk neglecting the present. Rather than adding to the overly saturated world of technological predictions, let us instead look at our present to understand where we are and how it is that we got here in the first place. Incidentally, this is also the best way to understand or at least reflect on where we may be heading. If we don't like what we see, we will at least have an incentive to change it. If we don't like what we see, we will at least have an incentive to change it. If we don't like what we see, being in the AI age, what AI is and is not, we design tech and tech in turn designs us. In the approximately 300,000 year existence of what are generally considered anatomically modern humans, we haven't fundamentally changed all that much. There's no significant biological difference between the present AI pioneers and their ancestral relatives who invented agriculture on any of the major innovation breakthrough in history. The most advanced and up-to-date version of a species, which includes Angela Merkel, Beyonce, Jeff Bezos, and me, which I hope is not interpreted as a narcissist statement, still shares about 99% of its DNA with chimpanzees. Our wants and needs haven't changed that much either, but how those wants and needs are manifested can change with the times. In our evolutionary journey, we managed to transition from producers and users of rudimentary hunter gathering tools to creators of space rockets, Bitcoin, and RNA vaccines. In the process, we created a diverse range of societies, empires, and civilizations, not to mention Snapchat and selfie sticks, which provided new elements to express our humanity. Though, in the grand scheme of things, AI is just humble computer code designed to make human tasks more predictable. History teaches us that even mundane technological innovations can have big psychological consequences when they scale. Consider the way human beings' inventions have rewritten our modus operandi in the absence of any major biological change. As Will and Ariel Durant write in the Lessons of History, evolution in man during recorded time has been social rather than biological. It has proceeded not by heritable variations in the species, mostly by economic, political, intellectual, and moral innovation transmitted to individuals and generations by imitation, custom, or education. For example, economic, the stock market, derivatives trading, the gig economy, and non fungible tokens. Political communism, fascism, liberal democracies, and state capitalism. Intellectual relativity theory, Bash's well tempered savior, the Google search engine, and Shazam. Moral, every religion in the world, humanism, our family values, and our self righteous minds. Where we go from here is up to us. As the AI age progresses, we have to find new ways to express our humanity for good or bad or both. So far, the most consequential impact of AI is not its ability to replicate or surpass, but rather impact human intelligence. This happening not through AI's inherent capabilities, but through the digital ecosystem we have built to harvest, refine, and deploy AI at scale. This ecosystem, which may be to the metaverse what dial-up internet has to Wi-Fi, has positioned AI as a ubiquitous and powerful influence on human behavior. Like any powerful force, there will be positive and negative consequences for social behavior. But change is the salient feature and what makes the AI age a significant phase in our human evolution. This change has three main enablers, namely a hyperconnected world, datafication of you, and lucrative business of prediction. In the next sections, I discuss these enablers in more detail. A hyperconnected world. To say that we inhabit a hyperconnected world is a big cliche as to say that the person is unprecedented and the future uncertain, or that a company's greatest assets is its people, which alas never stops anyone from offering these platitudes anyway. And yet, it is still true that the world has never been as connected as it is today. Hyperconnectedness is one of the defining features of our time. We are living much more connected lives than we ever have, and the trend is still upward. It has never been harder to be isolated from people and information, true facts and fake news, at least without checking into a meditation retreat. Never before has it been so easy to communicate with strangers, make new acquaintances, turn strangers into instant dates or future spouses, and maintain deep psychological contact with people regardless of who they are, where we are, and whether we ever met them. As much as technology has taken over our lives, and as much as we are hyperconnected, at the same time, our current behaviors are simply catering to our pre existing human desires. From psychological, as much as technology has taken over our lives, and as much as we are hyperconnected, at the same time, our current behaviors are simply catering to our pre existing human desire. From a psychological perspective, things haven't actually changed that much. For instance, every time we refresh, we are trying to validate ourselves, monitor our reputation, or answer a deep psychological question about our existence and the meaning of life. For example, what is going on? What do people think of me? What are my friends up to? And how am I doing in life? Our early predecessors shared these fundamental questions thousands of years ago. The only difference is they didn't have smartphones or the luxury of devoting so much time to engaging in these self-obsessed neurotic rumination. If an average human from the 1950s were transported to our present times, back to the future style, what would she see? Unlike Marty McFly, she would not see bionic X-ray vision implants or self-lined shoes, but simply wonder about the fact that most of us are glued to our mobile devices, irrespective of knowing whether algorithms are quietly working the magic in the background or that we are engaging in unprecedented degrees of inappropriate self disclosure, sharing our unsolicited views and news of everything and anything with everyone and anyone for no other obvious reason that than the fact that we can, our visitor from the past may arguably be disappointed. In the famous words of contrarian entrepreneur Peter Thiel, we were promised flying cars, instead we got 140 characters, though much of what is this time traveler would see we knew, I doubt she'd have much more trouble adapting in our way of life. Give her a smartphone, show her how it works, and everything will work out fine. What keeps us so utterly immersed in the hyper-connected digital universe we created, and the very reason this universe exists in the first place, is our deep desire to connect with one another, which caters to our primordial needs. The foundations of a hyper-connected world are largely the same universal needs that have always underpinned the main grammar of human life: the need to relate to others, the need to compete with others, and the need to find meaning or make sense of the world. These three basic needs can help us understand the main motives for using AI in everyday life. First, AI fulfills a relatedness need, that is the desire to connect and get along with others, deepening our relationships and staying in touch with friends. There is a reason we refer to a social media platform as social networks, a term that has always been used to describe the web of friends, contacts, and connections we have, representing a basic social capital. Second, AI can be seen as an attempt to boost our productivity and efficiency and improve our living standards, all of which address a need for competitiveness. Be sure we can examine whether this has been accomplished or not, but the intention is always there to achieve more with less, increase work output and efficiency, and most obviously to create increased consumption, the accumulation of resources. Third, AI has deployed is also deployed to find meaning, translating information into thoughts, helping us to make sense of an otherwise ambiguous and complex world. For better or worse, most of the facts, opinions, and knowledge we access today have been curated, organized, and filtered by AI. Which is why AI can be equally powerful for informing or misinforming us. The big players of the AI age have created virtual platforms where we can express and fulfill our universal needs. Take Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or any popular social media app. These platforms have become the main habitat of AI because they can connect us with others, creating a level of non demand psychological proximity to people's personal and public lives, irrespective of our real closeness to them. They also enable us to show off, advance our careers, display our virtues and status, and showcase our levels of confidence, competence, and success. The big players of AI age have created virtual platforms where we can express, fulfill our universal needs. Take Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or any other popular. What are our basic social needs? To relate, to connect with people, to network, to compete with people, and to find meaning. Social media does it all. The big players of AI age have created virtual platforms. They also enable us to show off, advance our careers, display our virtues and status, and showcase our levels of confidence, competence, and success. Equally important, though perhaps less obviously, we can use the major social media apps to fulfill our insatiable appetite for sense making, helping us find out who does what, when, and why within the ever expanding orbit of people's public reputation and the ever shrinking private life. As decades of scientific research suggest, we are all naive psychologists or amateur explorers of humanity looking to make sense of others' behaviors. One of the consequences of being a hypersocial and group oriented species is an obsession with the understanding or at least trying to interpret what people do and why. Trying to understand what people do, being everyone by whether we realize it or not. This obsession has fueled the vast application of AI to social networking platforms. These deep psychological functions of a hyperconnected world became crystal clear during the COVID-19 pandemic, which highlighted technology's power to keep us productive as well as socially and emotionally connected, even in extreme physical isolation. For much of the industrialized world, and especially for knowledge workers, aside from the non-trivial issue of staying healthy and sane, not to mention married, the much discussed new normal differed from the old normal only in degree. We basically increased our already high screen time. So we use Zoom to work and drink with friends and forgot why the office exists. Likewise, at a time of much uncertainty and confusion, our digital hyperconnectedness gave us tools to access knowledge, terms of meaning, religion, as well as access to infinite music libraries or podcasts from real experts on everything pandemic related in every major literary work in the world. But some of this is problematic. How much time are we spending not truly connected to other things and people in the analog or real sense of the word? Not much. We have turned ourselves into human variables attached to our phones non-stop with additional sensors from our smartwatches, Aura rings, Siri and Alexa while we patiently await to upload our memories, fantasies and consciousness to the cloud. In a relatively short time frame, we quickly transition from the internet to the Internet of Things. And how and now the you of things, a concept that sees our bodies as part of an enormous digital network and our existence downgraded to the status of our smart TVs and refrigerators. Since our cells have been largely reduced to the digital fragments of our reputation captured in the many devices that connect us to others and the world. It is hard to disagree with Yuval Harari's premise that we are becoming tiny chips inside a giant data processing system that nobody really understands. Some say that AI has turned humans into the product of tech firms, but a more accurate description, as Nobel Prize winning novelist Kazuo Ishiguro recently noted, is that we are more like land or soil being harvested or excavated, with the real product being data and its value being based on the ability to influence or change our beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. The major change from 20 years ago is arguably the amount of data we have produced and continue to produce to the point of translating every possible human behavior into a digital signal of it. We are more than ever not just physical but also virtual creatures, and our existence has acquired a second life in the form of virtual records encoded in the cloud, stored in ginormous data warehouses. The behavioral data of our habits, including our most intimate preferences, our deepest, most private thoughts, and our guilty pleasures, has been turned into a vast reserve of information so that algorithms can learn all there is to know about us. Scientific studies show, unsurprisingly, that AI can make more accurate estimates of our personality than not just our friends but also ourselves. The datafication of human our impetus to understand and predict the world, including ourselves or the other people. Our impetus to understand and predict the world, including ourselves and other people, underpins much of the current AI age. Yeah, so I'm done. I completed 14 pages of the book I Human AI Automation and the Quest to Declaim What Makes Us Unique by I don't know by Thomas Chamorro Premusic, Harvard Business Review Press. So I'll be completing this book over a period of time, 10 pages, 20 minutes at a time. Today we extended a bit to 28 minutes. That is it for today. Thank you for watching this. Watch me daily till 2 years. Bye.